my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest, I'm gon' launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5, I'm rocking and they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, so stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.
And I'm the one to get it, bro. I swear to God I get it, bro. So don't just let me get it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gon' get it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the one to get it, bro. I swear to God I'll get it, bro. Hey, I ain't never giving up. Yeah, I never give up. I got this, man, I got it. I will not quit, I'm on it. Never off it. Got the block lit, I'm toxic. Spitting logic, make them nauseous. Honest, can I stop this? Never cautious, drop it. I'm the hardest. Knock, knock, bitch, watch it. I'm the fucking king of rock, bitch. Profit, spitting hot shit. Off topic, chronic. I think I'm motherfucking lost it. Back, matter of fact, making racks where it's at. Had my back to the mat, not an act, that's a fact. We attack in a back, no react, no react. Think I'm black, up his back. While I rap, bounce a step, throw a jab, give a crap. We're advanced, I'm the man. Gotta play it better than most brands. Goddamn, I'm a rhyme till I die. Never lie, that's a lie. I don't try, I defy. Get to nod, that I'm right, yeah. Like a student though, working on a movement, yeah, I'll do it cause I'm in the zone. And you know that I'm ready for the shows. How it goes, I don't know, but I'm waiting till I'm chose. Front row, here I go. All these people wanna know what you think of them lately. Do you really love me or do you really hate me? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you grade me? All this social media has got me going crazy lately. Everything's inflated, mainly everyone's invaded. Privacy is naked, man, I really hate it. God, I really hate it. I just wanna make it through all this fake shit. Living in the real life, living for some real times. Talk about the real climb, passionate in real rhymes. Steal time back from my 9 to 5.
What's going on, guys? It is Joe and welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. It is currently Monday, May 31st, so it's beginning of the week, 2 days after our first show. To recap what happened with our first show, we did 2 different classes, right? We did the novice and we did the open. And for the novice, we didn't really place. It was top 5. We got 6th or 7th. It doesn't matter which one you want to say I got. And then for the open, we ended up placing 2nd. There was a total of 7 people in the novice category and there's a total of 3 people in the open. So I ended up beating somebody out in the open, which was nice. Came with 2nd place for that class, and then for the novice we didn't really place. It was only top 5. I wanted to do a video and just kind of recap the show, talk about my strengths, my weaknesses, critiquing my physique, tell you kind of why exactly I placed the way I did, and just tell you what I can improve on in the off season going into our next show. I think this would be very interesting to kind of go over and trying to just hear my point of view of what I think about my own physique, and go ahead and just split screen and just show some of the actual show footage from that day and just kind of just talk along as the video goes on. A couple things I want to talk about. I want to talk about my strengths, I want to talk about my weaknesses, and I want to talk about something that's both a strength and a weakness. Well, let's talk about some of my strengths. Really, one I wanted to highlight was my conditioning. So for this show, I mean, I was essentially just wanted to get as lean as I possibly could. I knew going into the show that size was going to be one of my weaknesses, which I will touch upon later, but I wanted to come in as shredded as possible, and that ended up being, I think, one of my strengths in this show was just how conditioned I actually was. I mean, we started this prep out at 180 pounds, and I used an InBody, which is a body fat estimator, which does an electrical impedance. It's not the most accurate, piece of information, but you can kind of get a good gauge, as time goes on, to see some level of consistency of how your body fat is changing. When I first started off this prep on the InBody, I measured in around 9% body fat when I first started the show. Now, was I actually a true 9%? I could have been, I could have not been. Again, it's just a rough estimate as far as where I'm at. I could be 9, I could be 10, 11, 12, who knows, right? But by the end of the prep, I dialed it all the way down to 5% body fat flat. Again, am I actually 5%? Who knows? I could be 6, I could be 7, I could be 4. I don't think I'm actually 4, but you know, it's just a rough estimate. It's just a gauge. So I got freaking lean for the show, 180 pounds, and then the one day out, I woke up at like 158, I think, pounds, I think flat, or 158 point something. But I mean, we essentially dropped like 22 pounds throughout the entire prep. And you know what? We did what we came to do. We got peeled, shredded. So my conditioning was definitely one of my strengths going into the show. Now let's talk about weaknesses. One of my weaknesses, just at the end of the day, is just size. The amount of muscle that I carried at being so lean, it just wasn't enough to compete against the people that I was competing against and the size and the class that I was in. Now the reason why I came in second in the open though is because although I did not have much size, I'll actually put a comparison between second and third. Although I did not have a whole lot of size, like the guy that came in third was by far bigger than me, but I was just so much more well conditioned than him that conditioning allowed me to basically beat that guy out, even though he had more muscle than me, clearly. As far as like my strengths and my weaknesses go, right? Strengths, conditioning, not an issue. In men's physique, I was actually one of the leanest guys there. There was another guy, dude, that was just absolutely just shredded. But one of the leanest guys there in my class, I mean, I was one of the leanest guys in my class. The only issue with that, right, is that being so lean, I just couldn't, for me personally, I just didn't have the size to compete with these guys. I mean, these guys were freaking way bigger than me. I mean, these guys were probably had like 15, 20 pounds on me at least, for sure. And that's just, we're talking about like 15, 20 pounds of like muscle. And you can definitely see a comparison when you compare our chest, shoulders, and just arms. I mean, the muscle on these dudes was just insane. And so that leads me to my next point, which I want to talk about, you know, one of my weaknesses, but is also at the same time going to be later on down the road one of my strengths, and that's my age. I was easily one of the youngest, if not the youngest person in the men's physique category. I mean, everybody that I talked to that did extremely well was all 24, 25. The guy that ended up winning first in one of the classes, he was 34 years old. The guy that won the overall for men's physique was 30. So we're talking about close to like a decade or even over a decade's worth of time to grow and time to develop. So although they're much older than me, and that's one of my weaknesses right now, as I continue to develop, as I continue to progress over the years, you know, the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, I'm gonna develop, I'm gonna grow more, I'm gonna be able to be just as lean and be able to carry that kind of level of muscle. And then when that happens, it'd be very interesting to see later down the road, how do I stack up against the guys that are now, you know, relatively my age, and now able to see the real comparison when it comes to actual, you know, muscle size and development and just growth overall. So that is going to be one of my weaknesses right now, but will later on be one of my strengths because I'm starting out so young. I guess over the years, just progressive overload like we do in the gym, come back a bigger, better, stronger, just as conditioned, all that. Another thing is this, the show that I competed in was a non-drug tested show, meaning that you were allowed to take PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, whether it be steroids, SARMs, a diuretic, whatever the case is. So for me personally, I am natural. I'm not on any PEDs. I didn't take any diuretics. I didn't take any steroids and any SARMs whatsoever. And the reason why is because I don't want to do that so early on in life. You know, you want to give yourself time to grow. You want to give yourself time to maximize muscle growth. If I were to do that now, I would limit the potential if I ever wanted to go down that road and maybe try and become an IFBB pro. I would limit the potential for how effective those things can be later down the road, especially because I have so much room to grow naturally still. I'm not anywhere close to my, you know, genetic natural potential. The longer I wait, the more time I give myself to develop. If I ever did want to go down that road and try and become an IFBB pro and try and compete at that level and maybe want to hop on something extra to do so, then the effectiveness of that would be so much more beneficial than if I were to do it now. Yeah, I will improve, but I would limit how much I can improve. So, you know, my piece of advice to anybody out there is if you're natural, stay natural as long as you possibly can. Would it be sick to be 21, juiced, and be able to compete and beat a lot of these guys? Yeah, that'd be awesome. But again, you want to wait. And if you can't stay natural your entire life, you know, who knows if later down the road I want to do that and I actually maybe decide to go that route. I'm not closed-minded to it, but for right now, it's definitely a no as far as like taking any performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, steroids, SARMs, diuretics, whatever the case is. Because I do also want to, in the future, I think next summer, what I'm going to do is strictly compete in all natural federations where they do drug test you, and see how I compare against those individuals in that federation and see what can I work on, what can I improve, and just notice the differences as far as like just the size and muscle development and all that stuff. But it was really just an eye-opener going to the show, you know, seeing that how well conditioned I was, but also seeing like, okay, these are the things I need to improve on. Is just overall size and muscle growth. Area weak points, number one is my chest for sure. I was just not gifted with the best booby genetics. I just don't have it. I work my chest out hard. Chest is something I prioritize on all my push days. So I definitely have to just focus on that more and obviously try and grow my chest and really give that the most attention. As far as just shoulders and arms, I think I have decent shoulders and arms for me right now. But again, I just need to grow as a whole, muscle just everywhere, just grow as in general. Also, I think the really cool part about this competition was seeing that I was able to get second and actually beat somebody else out, knowing that I had just enough muscle to do so, and just seeing how well conditioned I was. And, you know, it was nice to see that, and being just so young, being able to compete and actually beat somebody out, like that was just really just awesome. So that unfortunately I'm doing is another non-drug tested show, so we're gonna see how we stack up against those guys. Well, I mean, these guys are just like monsters. I mean, the guy that won first in my class and won first in the novice class as well, the two ones that I was in, I mean, this dude was a beast. I mean, he was just big all around, big shoulders, big arms, big chest, tiny waist. Okay, as far as conditioning wise, as I think I was actually a bit leaner than that guy, but he was just bigger arms, bigger chest, bigger shoulders, tinier waist, and as far as conditioning, he was well conditioned enough to beat everybody else in our class. So as far as a plan moving forward in the off season, I'll definitely talk about the off season game plan and what I actually plan to do in the off season after my second show. But I wanted to recap this first show, talk about some strengths, talk about some weaknesses, right? Really be honest with myself and critique my own physique and know that, hey, I'm very well conditioned, but at the end of the day, I just don't have enough muscle, and that will come with time. I'm still super young in the overall sport, and so I think that if for me to get too down on myself for not having the type of muscle that these guys have would just be just not the smartest idea. I just understand that I have time to grow and I have time to improve, and at the end of the day, I'm just trying to bring the best package that I can personally bring. If somebody else is just gifted genetically, if somebody else is on PEDs, that's something that I can't control, but at the end of the day, I can bring the best package that I possibly can. And for my first show and actually coaching myself the whole way through, I think that I did a pretty damn good job with that. Yeah, I just wanted to make this quick recap video as far as the overall first show went. It was an amazing experience. So happy that I was able to walk away with something as well, which is just icing on the cake. And we're just about 3 weeks out from our second show. I'm moving forward. After this video goes up, the next day will be a Breakfast Club video, and then we'll be back to our Breakfast Club vlog schedule. I did over the last couple of days pump a lot of content revolving around the show because I had so much footage that I just wanted to edit it, put it all together, and put it out there for you guys. But anyways, I'm wrapping the video up here. Please leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. It's been your boy Joe. Peace.